world of YouTube, true crime, material site, and everything else. So I was watching an episode the other night, last night as a matter of fact. I don't know if anybody else caught it, but Paranormal caught on tape, I believe, or camera, or whatever it is. The TV show was covering the Mothman, I believe. And of course you get your skepticals on that of the Mothman, but they did make a good point. And this is YouTube channel, True Crime with Tale for Sight and everything else. Today we're going about everything else because of this interesting artifact, or I should say article I found. So watching last night, I believe it was, I was watching about how the Mothman and the investigators on this were talking about it could have been a great horn-eared owl they seen. And of course they were showing pictures of people, what they drew, and one of them did look like an owl. And with that being said, and of course this is in West Virginia, and I'm linking it to all my stuff, everything I say, and I believe everything that everybody has seen is all in connection with Native Americans. And then you got this other episode, I guess I was watching. Literally, we're talking about a cabin in West Virginia built in the woods. And the person who built the cabin used timber from them woods that he moved into. Moved his whole family in, and they all ended up dead. Relatives and family members later on moved in, and all they had bad experience with the cabin. And what I've been saying all along about, say, like the Huckamuck Swamp, Bridgewater Triangle, hell, even my New England Triangle, and the Wachusett Triangle, all these triangles. I've even found consistent triangles out west. And I do believe that natives made these triangles. Especially my New England Triangle that leads from Bridgewater to Vermont to Connecticut. Huge triangle. And supposedly Cornstalk here was a chief in West Virginia. And I'm most likely going with Curse is right. Because of course, when natives started to realize that they got their land taken, stolen, everything under the sun, ripped off, whatever the case may be. Hell, I'm even starting to think these turkey vultures native used to torture. And maybe that ain't in the books. But I'm laying that on the line and being the first. Because I see a lot of them hanging around too. Especially when I'm wandering. So, call me crazy. But this is something I'm very interested in. And all my research that I've been doing has been leading to, sacred stuff, sacred land. And I even think Bigfoot is. Because everywhere you see a Native American story, lo and behold, there's a Bigfoot sighting around that too. So, I am not surprised that Mothman is a Native American. Because as you can see, pushed their way to the west and later fought for their independence from Britain. The Ohio River, Ohio is hugely Native American land with rivers. And there was a chief Cornstalk who later became a friend to the, well, I don't know why they say Americans, but British, all the white men, as they would call them. And, but treachery, and of course, ripping off, treaties being written, and the, decapitation, murder, rape was a huge thing back then too, between both, not only tribes, but the white men. But hey, one see, one do. And you gotta sit there and think about this. All these natives, when the white man came over, they tried to befriend them, be as friendly as possible, shown them their ways, and got, stabbed in the back. And this ain't no different than the skinwalker, which I think has a huge part in sacred land, of course, because there's a man who did buy Skinwalker Ranch who said that in his own words, that the Skinwalker was made due to not only to the white man, but to other tribes. So if anybody tried to take over their sacred land, the Skinwalker appears. If you try to disrespect it, try to in any way do anything to it. In West Virginia, I can just imagine how much stuff was tampered with out there to make this mythological creature, which I don't think it's mythological, I think it's real. But if people are seeing the owl too, I also say that is a sacred bird. And it would be nice to know if the people, did see. And I don't think it was death due to that in some ways. In other ways, it could have been the death because the owl brings you, what I think, because it happened to me. You must get into that last stage with people who get ill or sicknesses. And that cabin in West Virginia, people did get that. So, it could be cursed, or it could be that, people really did get sick. But if someone did get sick, the owl warns you to be with that person until the end. Because sometimes they don't come through. But this is something I'm on the to-do list. But I am going with the cursed land too, strongly. You go in there and do stuff you're not supposed to. That's where you are greeted by these creatures. So with that being said, now they're pushing the Mothman to be, yeah, what I've been saying all along. All these things that have been made were made for a reason. So be careful where you're stepping. That's all I got to say. Hell, even my son was watching this, and I bet you they won't do nothing to you, huh? I said, no. Because I respect, and I know when I go to these places, I don't have nothing happen to me. I even went to where the Pukwudgie is in Wilson, New Hampshire. And that's right. Walked in that cemetery and walked out still alive. Which it is known that someone had walked in and died 2 weeks later of a massive heart attack. But some people ain't just strong enough to, or they don't know enough knowledge of the history of the past. So I'm gonna put this article in the description if you want to check it out. But with the two stories that I just gone over with last night, boom, and everybody's talking about Native Americans. Something I've been talking about for a long time now, and I've been putting two and two together, so I'm not surprised that the Mothman theory is Native American. Ha! That's right. And that's where the people, of course, of the white man got to putting the natives back in the day. Oh, they're devil worshippers, and tried to push them to Christianity because they thought they were disciples of the devil, but they're not. They have their own, or I should say, we have our own way of living. You have your own way of living. And if you come crossing paths and you want to disrespect, well, you get what you deserve. And that's what it is all today. Money, greed, and how much you can raise them taxes to make people pay and work themselves. And think about it. Just think about it. Slavery ain't gone away. Because you got people out there right now working 2-3 jobs. 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet. What is that? Just because you get paid for it now, it still exists. They don't want you to, have a life. Have yourself vacations and stuff. Unless you come into a good multi-million family, or if you're raised into rich. But if you're like me, down here, bottom of the barrel, and people don't notice you all the time, well, you gotta scratch, cut, burn, blood, sweat, tears, and keep drilling till you get to the top. So, I'm hoping one day I'll be there. Yeah, I won't forget nobody in my journey. Because without the fans, just like with the bands, without the fans, that's right, you're freaking nobody. And today I would like to take each and every one of you for sticking in there, staying alive with me, and highly appreciate everybody. Hopefully one day when I do get bigger, I'm going to do my damnedest to pay each and every one of you back in some form and way. So, thank you all. I'd like to make a shout out to my man Tom. Sorry I've missed you on Thursday. I think I might be able to do next Thursday. I don't know. But yeah, I got, strung up on some things with the kids. You know how it is, brother. Them kids are just trying to do things with the kids these days, and they just don't get it. But until that next video, be safe, take care, and always respect the land you walk on, because unfortunately, one foot way or another, natives lived there before us, or we, because I have native, and I gotta figure out which part I am, but we were here first. You gotta respect that. So, and I don't see nobody respecting it these days, because they just keep building, and one day there ain't gonna be nothing here but traffic. It's gonna get real bad. I have nowhere to move around there. I see all the old trees starting to die. ones that have been around for 100, 200, 300 years, all dropping because we keep building and taking the oxygen from each other. And you can plant trees as much as you want, but they're not as gonna grow as fast as them big ones. And it's getting nasty out there. But hey, during the video, folks, the Mothman, I believe, is Native American made. And now everybody's starting to talk about it. Go figure. Out.